This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some major update to share with you. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are calling for an additional $2,400 for Social Security beneficiaries, basically saying promises must be kept. I'll play you the video clip of what he said. And if those promises are being kept, what about other promises like student loan forgiveness? Could this expand into credit card forgiveness? Could there also be other types of stimulus provisions like those $2,000 stimulus checks? I'll get into all that, plus the new $500 monthly checks, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So Bernie Sanders warns Democrats of midterm beating and blasts corporate mansion and cinema, basically saying that there has not been enough done from the Democrat side, especially being in power of the House and the Senate, and bad things are going to come. So what he said here is the Republicans stand an excellent chance of gaining control of the House and quite possibly the Senate. And he's saying you really can't win an election with a bumper sticker that says, well, we can't do much, but the other side is worse. So Bernie Sanders basically saying that the Democrats need to step up. One of the ways to do so is this. So this is big news right here. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren proposed bill to extend Social Security solvency for 75 years and increase benefits by $2,400 per year. So finally, that extra $200 per month is coming to the forefront and making headlines, and a big proposal right before midterms, which gives it a better chance. So Social Security will reach a point where it may no longer be able to pay full benefits as of 2035, and Senator Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, along with other Democratic legislators, put forth a new plan on Thursday aiming to extend the program's solvency, and the proposal would also make benefits more generous, including an extra $2,400 per year for beneficiaries. So this is one of those promises that President Biden made on his campaign trail, basically saying every Social Security beneficiary, whether SSI, SSDI, is going to get an additional $200 per month. It's been really silent lately, but now that the midterms are coming up and the Democrats are in trouble, we're going to start to see a lot of proposals like this and things that are trying to get passed to try to get more votes coming up in November. So another promise that was kept in the past, just to remind you what happened. So Bernie Sanders presses Joe Biden on $2,000 stimulus checks, saying promises must be kept. Now, remember when there were $2,000 stimulus checks that won the Georgia runoff race every day, multiple times a day, $2,000 stimulus check, $2,000 stimulus check. We could see a repeat because that actually worked for the Georgia runoff. They actually, the Democrats got 2 Democratic seats in the Senate, giving the Democrats the majority. Now, Democrats in a very tough position right now could do some desperate things, and the stimulus checks worked in the past. Can it work again? We'll talk more about that on the other side of this video. First, here is Bernie Sanders talking more about the increase for Social Security.
It's estimated that some 22 million Americans, including more than 16 million seniors, would be living in poverty. Yet, despite this important success, we should be clear that tens of millions of senior citizens are still struggling today to make ends meet, and many older workers are scared to death, literally frightened to death, that they will never be able to retire with any shred of dignity. According to the most recent data that I have seen, 12% of seniors in America are trying to live on an income of less than $10,000 a year. Got that? 12% less than $10,000 a year. I don't know how anyone can live, seniors or otherwise, on less than $10,000. And equally important, 55% of seniors are trying to survive on less than $25,000 a year. Think about that. And when you're a senior, you're dependent on prescription drugs and health care, trying to keep your home warm, trying to make it. On 25,000 years, that's more than half of the seniors in America. Adding insult to injury, and this is an enormously important point that I think we don't make often enough, about half of older Americans, those who are 55 years of age and older, have no retirement savings. Got that? You're 55 years of age in America, you've worked your whole life, you got zero in the bank for when you retire. And they are dependent on a Social Security benefit today that is less than $1,540 a month on average. Now, despite what some politicians have been saying for years, Social Security today is not on the line going broke. Social Security has a $2.85 trillion surplus in its trust fund and can pay out every benefit owed to every eligible American for the next 13 years, okay? Social Security, you pay out all your benefits for the next 13 years. But what the actuaries want, what I want, what I think most people want is more than 13 years. The actuaries talk about 75 years being the kind of number that we should have as we go forward. After that 13 years, Social Security estimates that there will be enough funding, Social Security Administration estimates that there will be enough funding available to pay 80% of promised benefits. So you got all benefits for the next 13 years, 80% after that. Now, given that reality, our job, in my view, is not to cut Social Security, is not to raise the retirement age, as many of my Republican colleagues would have us do. Our job is to expand Social Security so that everyone in America can retire with the dignity that he or she deserves, and that every person in this country with a disability can retire with the security they need. And that is what the Social Security Expansion Act that I have introduced today, along with Senators Warren, Whitehouse, Merkley, Van Hollen, Padilla, Booker, and Gillibrand, is all about. This legislation has been endorsed by many, many organizations, including the AFL-CIO, the Alliance for Retired Americans, Social Security Works, the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare, the American Federation of Teachers, and many, many other organizations. According to a letter, and this is an important part of what this hearing is about today, according to a letter that I received from the Social Security Administration this morning, this legislation will fully fund Social Security for the next 75 years and expand benefits for senior citizens and people with disabilities. Now, how do we do that? How do you expand benefits and make Social Security solvent for the next 75 years, which is, I think, what the American people want? Well, the answer is not complicated. At a time of massive income and wealth inequality, at a time when billionaires pay an effective tax rate lower than the average working person, at a time when the very richest people in this country are becoming much richer, this legislation demands that the wealthiest people in this country start paying their fair share of taxes. Today, absurdly and grossly unfairly, there is a cap on income subject to Social Security taxes. That cap is now about $147,000 a year. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you are a multi-billionaire, you pay the same amount of money into Social Security as someone who makes $147,000 a year. Got that? It means that if you make $147,000 a year, you pay 6.2% of your income in Social Security taxes. But if you make 10 times more than that, $1,470,000, you pay 0.6% of your income in Social Security taxes. All of this is taking place at a time of massive income and wealth inequality. Now, that may make sense to somebody. It does not make sense to me. Our legislation applies the Social Security payroll tax on all income, including capital gains and dividends, for those who make over $250,000 a year. Under this legislation, 93.6% of households would not see their taxes go up by 1 penny. So the overwhelming majority of the American people would not see any increase in their taxes under this proposal. The tax increase in our legislation only applies to the wealthiest 6.4% of all Americans, those who make $250,000 a year or more. Further and importantly, under this bill, Social Security benefits would be increased by $2,400 a year for both new and existing recipients, lifting millions of seniors out of poverty. In addition, under this bill, we would increase COLAs for senior citizens by more accurately measuring the spending pattern for senior citizens through the Consumer Price Index for the elderly. Now, one of the reasons that I called this hearing, and I'm glad that Senator Graham has been able to be here, is that there is, in fact, a strong philosophical difference between many of us in the Democratic caucus and many in the Republican caucus as to the best way forward with regard to Social Security. And that's kind of the discussion we're going to have today. While virtually all members of the Democratic caucus are on record in support of expanding Social Security benefits, the Republicans, by and large, have taken a very different approach. And I'm delighted, and I hope they will show up, that some of the Republicans who have taken strong positions on this issue, I see Senator Romney's here, and I'm glad that is the case. Look forward to hearing from him. That some of the Republicans who have taken strong positions on this issue are on this committee. And I know that they're going to be explaining where they come from, and I look forward to that debate. Earlier this year, Senator Rick Scott, the chairman of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, released a plan that would sunset Social Security every 5 years, raise taxes on millions of seniors, and jeopardize the guaranteed income of 65 million Americans who depend on Social Security. Just a few months ago, the Republican Study Committee in the House introduced a bill that would raise the Social Security retirement age to 69 years of age over the next 8 years and privatize Social Security by allowing employers to divert payroll tax dollars into less generous private retirement accounts. Last year, Senator Romney, who is here with us, has opposed raising taxes on the wealthy to strengthen Social Security, introduced legislation to form a committee to propose cuts to Social Security behind closed doors. In 2020, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell told a Bloomberg reporter that, quote, he hopes to work with the next Democratic president to trim Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, end quote. In 2011, my colleague Senator Graham introduced legislation to raise the full retirement age to 70 by 2032 and index it to longevity. Further, in 2003, Senator Graham introduced a bill that would have cut Social Security benefits for current wage earners by 27%, according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. Now, as I think everybody knows, I don't often agree with former President Donald Trump. But this is what he said when he was campaigning for president in 2015, and he was right. He said, quote, every Republican, this is in the Republican primary, every Republican wants to do a big number on Social Security, they want to do it on Medicare, and they want to do it on Medicaid, end quote. Well, let me be clear, we cannot allow that to happen. The vast majority of the American people understand that a moral society does not give tax breaks to billionaires and then cut back on the needs of struggling seniors or people with disabilities. In fact, 72% of Americans support increasing, not cutting, Social Security benefits by asking millionaires and billionaires to pay more into the system. So that is where we are right now. It's a great philosophical difference. I look forward to the debate. Some of us think that the very wealthiest people in this country are doing extraordinarily well, should in fact be asked to pay more into Social Security so we can protect millions of low-income and struggling seniors. Others disagree.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree, disagree with Bernie Sanders? Do you think that Social Security should get the $200 per month increase, bringing it to $2,400 for the year? Let me know your thoughts on that. So talking about other types of promises here. So a student loan forgiveness announcement from Biden won't come until late summer, if at all. So basically, a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, President Biden announced that he will make a decision on student loan forgiveness in a few weeks. but now it seems like it's going to be until late summer, and I wouldn't be surprised until it's the fall when he makes a decision. Think about it. Can he make the decision right now to do student loan forgiveness? Is there anything in his way? He's had almost 2 years to do so since he's been in presidency, which is one of the things that he promised. So what's holding him back now? Whether you're for it or against it, if you think about getting the most political bang for your buck, probably makes sense to wait for student loan forgiveness right until the midterm elections, which is probably what's going to happen to try to get more votes. Now, if there's student loan forgiveness, should there be other types of forgiveness, such as credit card forgiveness? So if we look at this article right here, credit card balances spike to $841 billion after stimulus checks helped reduce debt. So consumers pulled off a staggering feat during the pandemic, paying down credit card debt and boosting savings. Now credit card debt is back to record levels amid the highest inflation in 40 years. The Federal Reserve's monthly credit report found that revolving credit, which mostly includes credit card balances, jumped nearly 20% in April. Well, with high cost of food, gas, inflation, it's no wonder that credit card debt is up. But could that be on the table for forgiveness? Let me know your thoughts. Credit card forgiveness, is that a good idea, bad idea? If there's student loan forgiveness, should there be other types of forgiveness like medical forgiveness, credit card forgiveness? I feel like anything is up in the air, or anything is on the table when it comes to Democrats trying to maintain control of the House and the Senate and try to get votes in the midterm elections. Let me know your thoughts on that. So we're probably going to see a lot more proposals coming out now, but most likely, if anything passes or anything going to be given out, any type of money, it's probably going to be right before the November midterm election. So it should be really interesting over the next few weeks and months. When it comes to other types of stimulus checks, so Universal Basic Income Update planned to give new $6,000 a year in monthly bonus payments to families. Do you qualify? So this is going on in Annapolis, Maryland. So $500 per month over a year, that would be $6,000. So this is going to 100 families. So we're starting to see a lot of these universal basic income programs just popping up all over the place, especially with inflation. More and more are starting to come out. So I'll keep you updated if any new ones come about. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella's tip of the day. I want to tell you that you could be anything that you want in the world. You could be, for example, you could be a veterinarian, take care of dogs, help dogs, or you could be a nurse, and you could help people, or you could be a doctor, or you could be like anything, as you want. You are your own self. You could be whatever you want when you get older. If you're older. Bye, that was Bella's tip of the day.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your time and all of your support. Everything is good with the fam. We had a little beach walk yesterday, just kind of after dinner, went to the beach, took a little walk, which is pretty nice. And Bella has been going to musical theater camp this week, which is pretty cool. She likes it, and she's in a play today, which I'm really excited to see. So I'll keep you updated on that, what happens in tomorrow's video. And that is everything. So if you want to check out any of my other videos on my other channels, you could click up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.